welcome to an audio-only episode here on the PGTK Podcast. My name is Emmanuel, and first of all, happy Labor Day for the ones who are here in the U.S. and celebrating the long weekend as the summer season draws to a close. But wherever you're at on the planet, whether it's here on the U.S. or some other part of the planet, thank you so much for taking the time and listening to this episode this week. And if you have been listening and never got to hear the episodes before this, all it takes is clicking that follow button and subscribing, whether it's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on YouTube. Though this is an audio-only release here on Spotify, there will be audio and video episodes for you to view and enjoy to your heart's content. And on this episode, I took part in United 210's press conference that happened last Friday night, promoting This Is How We Do It, which is happening on Friday, September 27th here at the Yard in San Antonio. And give them a follow on their socials at United 210 on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to their YouTube channel because all of their matches are posted on the YouTube channel as well. I have 4 guests that are going to be interviewed for this episode, and the first one will be with Casey Blackrose, and he is the current reigning and defending Hybrid School of Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, and we talk about his involvement with United 210 as the promotion got bigger over time. And there will be 3 more guests, but without further ado, here is the first interview with Casey Blackrose.
So how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing? Thank you for coming out here.
Oh, I mean, I got the invite. I was like, you know what? That's like a clarion call at that point. So throughout this time, though, like being part of United, how big the promotion has gone, what was that feeling like of just being part of the action here in the Yard?
It's been a great feeling. You know, Stash and Rob been giving a lot of opportunities to a lot of young and up-and-coming talents, and I've been doing this for about 3 years, so being able to represent not only Hybrid, but San Antonio, and I'm born and raised here in the South Side, so it's really close to home. I literally grew up like 10 houses down to the left on this street, so it's a home feel. You know, we didn't expect how fast the growth was, but we're here 2 years in, and we've been doing amazing things.
To be part of that experience, of course, like there has to be some sort of like nerves coming in. Was there any moments of I wouldn't say weakness, but rather were there any moments that you had nerves coming into United?
Yeah, I would say when I wrestled Pac a few months ago when they first unveiled the Heritage Championship, you know, we didn't know until Stash told us in the ring. So we thought it was a regular singles match, and he worked us. He pulled the title out, and then he brought out Cody Lane. So that was a moment that was pure emotion. You know, we didn't really know what was going on, but the crowd was into it, and that was one of my better matches. And to be the first Heritage Championship, that means a lot.
And out of your title defenses, how has that really improved your own wrestling repertoire when you started defending the Heritage Championship?
I'm not going to lie. I've had some of the best matches of my career here at the Yard. You know, I've wrestled Robert Martyr. I've wrestled Rob Love, Danny O'Ryan. You've interviewed him before. He's one of the best wrestlers we have here in Texas. And to be in the ring with those gentlemen, it elevates my game, but it shows that I can not only hang with these guys, but I can show that I'm one of the best wrestlers in Texas. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, and I'm going to go on the other side, too, where losing the Heritage Cup to Danny O'Ryan, and I'm sure there must have been some sort of feelings of sadness or rejection. Like, what was that feeling losing the title a few shows back?
That one, you know, that was like a punch to the gut. Danny wasn't even supposed to be a part of that match. It was just supposed to be me, Pac, and David Kidd. And again, United pulling out all the surprises. I didn't know Danny was going to be into that match until they played his music. He came out here demanding a championship match. I thought he was going to go after Lil Evo and Teflon John, but, you know, I beat him 2 shows prior to that, so he had unfinished business, I would say, with the Heritage Championship. And although he walked out with that title, I didn't get pinned. David Kidd got pinned. So, if I want an opportunity for that title, you just heard we're doing a 30-man rumble. I'm sure if and when I win, I can go after any title I want. I just might want the Heritage Championship back.
And of course, and I asked this on the press conference, and even though this door is closing with the Heritage Championship, winning the Hybrid School of Wrestling Championship and being trained here for some time, that must have been like a liberating feeling, seeing that door open when you get the title.
That was an amazing feeling. There's been footage all over social media, and I've never felt and heard a reception quite like the way I did that night. The whole audience was saying, you deserve it. And just to have that feeling and moment, that's what we live for. That's what I train for, and that's what I got into the business for. And it's been 6 days since I won this title. My body's still beat up. I'm still bruised, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
And has there been a huge trust in Hybrid to give you this title?
This is pretty much Coach Marvel and Don Juan giving me the keys, like, hey, lead us into the next 5 years. Because that was our 5-year anniversary, and I was a part of that first show, not in the ring, but I was recording for the camera. And to see my own growth, I didn't think I'd ever make it this far. Hybrid has a lot of great wrestlers, David Kidd, people who aren't even there no more, Richie Garcia, Aaron Mercer, Chris Cruz. Like, so many people have walked through those doors. And to know that I'm leading us into the future, it's an amazing feeling.
And to be in that Parthenon of having this championship, that must have been a gratifying feeling, being in that same class as like an Aaron Mercer or a David Kidd, who have been in those boots over in Hybrid.
Yeah, just following the footsteps of these guys who pretty much showed me the ropes. David Kidd, he had a hand-on-hand help in my training. When I first started, he had just finished his first wrestling match. Him, Ren Sinclair, Drew Dredd, so many guys who pretty much took my hand and showed me, and I carved my own path. Everyone has their own journey and path in wrestling, but I think I pretty much showed that I am the standard bearer of the Hybrid School of Wrestling and San Antonio Wrestling.
It's interesting. You had a sneak peek also being in the machine and to be part of a WWE segment with the White Six reveal. Like, tell us how that got to that point.
That was, leading up to that day, there was a whole bunch of speculation online of if this group was coming or who was going to be in it. And when I walked in that building, I didn't see any of them. I didn't find out what I was doing until about 30 minutes before the show started.
Wow.
Because it was the last segment of the night. And they kept everyone hidden, and just walking in and seeing people who weren't there for a few years, it blew my mind, because I loved Bray Wyatt and his work. And when I first broke into the business, his character kind of helped me discover who and what I wanted to be. And being a part of history and a moment like that, I would never forget. The reaction, it was in Corpus Christi. The reaction in that stadium, goosebumps everywhere.
Really?
Afterwards, Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, Triple H, they thanked me and they hugged me. And just to be a part of history and knowing that's something that's going to live with me for the rest of my life, it shows that I'm on the right path. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this life.
And for those who haven't seen this segment, where can we find you in that reveal?
Literally, when they're going through the segment, the lights go out. I think they show Eric Rowan first. I am literally the first body laying on the floor.
Wow.
I have blood coming out of my face. Eric Rowan shows his reveal. And even getting on social media afterwards, I had people pointing me out, all over. Well, that whole weekend, everyone thought it was Gunther. Everyone was mistaking me for Gunther.
That would be a dream, though, to be fair.
That is one of my dream matches. I love the hard-hitting European style. And I just got my passport, so I'm hoping to make my way up there pretty soon. But just my picture being, trending all weekend. People mistaking me for someone else. It brought a lot of eyes to me. And, people know it's a lot of local talent and independent wrestlers who get put in those roles. And those are normally the ones who end up making it. You've seen guys like LA Knight, Sheamus, they were in those roles before, and I'm trying to follow that path and those footsteps. And I know if I keep my foot on the gas and I keep doing what I'm supposed to do, that could one day very well be me.
Yeah, it's interesting because now we're going past in San Antonio and Baracho, being part of in the promotion in Austin. Was that your first exposure in Austin, or was there any more promotions that you've had?
I've wrestled for Uncanny Attractions prior. So their first show when they came back to Texas, I was a part of their first show, the very first match.
Oh, wow.
I believe other than that, I did 2 Uncanny shows. So one was at the Highland Lounge, and then one was at the AAPW school. But that was my first, time stepping in Austin, even before wrestling.
And what was that feeling of wrestling in another city and being away from your home territory, wrestling here? That must have been a wild dream, being part of it.
Yeah, you never know stepping into another city if people are going to know you or not. But, when I wrestled Brick Savage at the Baracho Pro Fallout, I had a pretty good reception. People knew who I was, and just to feel the energy of a city that I've never stepped into, and the crowd just giving me their emotion and giving me their all.
Oh, yeah.
That was something. That's one of my favorite matches. Like, not a lot of people can stand toe-to-toe with Brick. And, I broke his back 4 times. I did what I did.
That's so cool,
And
yeah.
I guarantee you, Brick he's going to remember Casey Blackrose for a very long time.
Or are we going to see a rematch down the line?
I would love to, whether it's for his Baracho title, for the Hybrid School of Wrestling Championship. Even if when I win this San Antonio Rumble, I'll defend that title against him too.
And I'm going to end the conversation with this too, and we're kind of short on time too. And I always end my conversations and interviews with this is, if you were in the same room as an adolescent Casey Blackrose, what would you like to talk to him about?
If I was in a room, I would tell him, stick to your, don't be afraid to follow your dream. Because I've loved pro wrestling since I was a kid. Growing up, I got to see Eddie Guerrero a week before he passed away.
Wow.
It was 2005. It was here at the SBC Center, now the Frostbank Center. But I got to see him team up with Batista against Randy Orton and Cowboy Bob Orton. And Eddie was one of my favorites growing up. I'm a big Texas guy. You got Eddie, Shawn, Undertaker. And from that moment, I knew that this was what I was supposed to do. And I've had a long journey, not only in life, but in pro wrestling. My father passed away a year later after Eddie Guerrero died.
Wow.
And not Eddie, but pro wrestling is what I turned to, and it's what helped me escape from reality. And growing up, I got to high school, and I was like, people, you still watch that, but I never cared. I never listened to what other people thought because I knew there was a bigger journey for me in life. And, I'm not going to lie, I almost didn't make it to the point I'm at now. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it's pretty well documented, but my 3rd match, I wrestled Chase Owens at the first hybrid experience, and my brother passed away the day after.
Wow.
And I've just been getting hit with blow after blow after blow, but no matter what life has thrown at me, I've never given up. I've never stopped going. I've kept my foot on the gas because I know at the end of the day and at the end of my journey, there's more than what I've gone through. And, if I keep doing what I'm going to do, what I've been doing, all I've ever wanted to do was be a professional wrestler and eventually make it to a big stage. And I know it's in my path. I just keep working hard.
And what keeps you going to wrestle at that level?
Just the thought of knowing that even though they're no longer here, but my brother and my dad, they're with me all the way. They're rooting for me. I feel their energy, whenever before a match, I feel them just their energy, and I wake up. I just, I'm not very, I wouldn't say spiritual, but I believe.
It's a divine intervention.
Yeah. But every time I write on my sleeves, RM for my brother, JM for my dad. And I know when I look at them that it just helps push me to not give up and to keep fighting no matter how many times Brick Savage hits me in the face or no matter how many times Daniel Ryan kicks me in the mouth. I look at those letters and I know no matter what I'm going through in that ring, I've gone through things harder outside, and I can keep going. And
On our next segment on the United 210 podcast, here on the PGTK podcast, we have Kalientita here, and she is the Hybrid School of Wrestling Women's Champion and the RCW Women's Champion. How are you, ma'am?
I am doing so good. I'm not going to lie, my shoulders hurt a little bit because this is a lot of gold to carry, you know?
All that weight.
A lot of
all
gold.
that weight.
Yeah. It's a good struggle.
And I was wondering, especially before you got those belts and going through training over time, what were some of those growing pains training to be a wrestler?
Oh, man. I think my story is a little different from a lot of people. I started when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
I was not athletic at all, never done a sport in my life. So I came in with nothing, like not even knowing how to eat good or whatever. It was a lot of patience. It took me 3 years before I ever made my debut because of just how Hybrid School of Wrestling has standards. You know, they don't just hand out a certificate to anybody. So you have to meet a certain requirement. And for someone like me who was so new into like being an athlete or being active, it took me so long to meet those requirements. And if anything, for me, I tell people all the time, it was patience. Like truly believing, because you hit a year, you hit 2 years, and it's like, okay, it's not happening. When is it going to happen? You know, it was so easy to give up. I could have given up so easily, and a lot of people do on the way there. But once it happened, it was all 100% worth it.
When did you start to get it?
Like, when did I start? Like,
yeah, when you were like,
click?
oh my gosh, I finally got it.
Ooh, I'll be honest with you, maybe 2 years in.
Okay.
Because I was also very shy, and I didn't, which is crazy. You guys would have never known that, but
Yeah.
I couldn't speak.
We're breaking the illusion here, guys.
I know, guys, this is crazy. This is AI. I'm kidding. No, but it's crazy. Like, I'm very proud of myself, too, for how long, how do you say it? Like, for how far I've came, actually. Because it was so hard for me to talk to people, for me to be loud in the ring, outside the ring, like the selling part of it. Like, I was like, ew, I have to like, you know, like make noise. That's so cringe. But no, I think 2 years in, what really broke me was Coach Funaki.
Okay.
He was like, no, break out of it. Do this, do that. And after so much pressure, and obviously he's Sho Funaki, like, you know, you don't want to disappoint him.
Oh, yeah, it's a legend. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, it definitely helped me out, and I will thank him forever. Everyone on the way, obviously, like Chris Marvel, Don Juan. When it comes to charisma,
I have to
buddy.
do that when I interview
Yeah,
next.
that man too gives you a lot of confidence. When I felt like, oh, maybe my promos are just mid or whatever, he would be like, no, girl, you got something, and he's always believed in me. So
Yeah, and I'm curious, with your debut, what was the feedback that you got after the match? And do you remember like where your debut was?
yes, my debut was August 18th of last year.
Oh, wow.
And I tagged with Studstache against Izzy Moreno and David Kidd. But I remember, if anything, it was just like knowing that I was in the right place and that everything fell in time the way it was supposed to. I got a lot of great critiques from coaches, from fans, from people who had never seen me before, from people who only knew me as a ref, to see me in this
Really?
ring and do a complete like 360. It just felt right. It was like, you know what? I think I'm in the right place, doing the right thing. Yeah.
And I'm curious, because going past answer, I had the question
Yeah.
during the press conference, being part of reality of wrestling and being part of something that's bigger than your own home territory.
Yeah.
What was it like being part of it?
Oh, dude. So every time because I've been at Reality of Wrestling twice now.
Oh.
Every time I go, I'm like, it's so surreal, like to see Booker T, right? And then
Yeah.
there's always guys in the back. Like last time there was Mark Henry, there's Teddy Long, Boogeyman, and I'm like, bro, I just get to be in the locker room with you guys.
You're trying not to fangirl, but you're getting giddy.
Yeah, no, but it's for me, when I first started wrestling, I said my number one goal in Texas is making my debut at Reality of
Yeah.
Wrestling. And I've been so blessed that it happened. And to take part in the first ever women's tag team championship match, like that's
Yeah.
forever going to go down in history. I didn't win, but I mean, I left like a winner because that's history in itself.
Yeah, and you try to make that imprint of really and you answered it where you're being a star, and that means going through different cities and going
Yes.
through a lot of cities and saying, hey, I'm wrestling here. I'm trying to make my mark in the business.
100%. My first goal before I even get out of Texas to wrestle is to take over Texas.
Yeah.
I need every corner to know exactly who I am. And then, once I get that accomplished, then I'll move out of Texas a little bit. I'll go start annoying other people.
Dream opponents. Who are you looking forward to?
my number one will always be Roxanne Perez. I
Okay.
missed her a little bit,
Roxy.
you know.
Oh my gosh.
She's been a good friend of mine, a good mentor. She's so kind. Like, even when she doesn't have to be, she could have easily forgot me, and she still messages me every now and then. She's so
Aw.
cool, and I'm so sad I missed her. But Roxanne is definitely number one. Another one I have is Kara Hogan.
Okay.
If you really pay attention to my character, I've taken a lot of inspiration from her.
Yes.
Because she's just so cool, and she looks amazing, and I've always loved a confident girl. So those are like my top two at the moment.
Exactly.
For
And
sure.
I can tell your shoulders are getting heavy. If this is an audio recording, but you
It's
can tell
okay.
it's getting heavy. It's drooping from one side, but to have the hybrid school women's championship in RCW, and especially when someone says "NU," whenever you hear that and you're trying to get up from whatever
Yeah,
pain that
like,
you're going
ow.
through,
Yeah.
what was that feeling hearing that as you got the belt?
Well, I'll for sure tell you for the hybrid one, I think I felt a million things at once. It was very emotional for me because, like I told you, I feel like when I first started, so many people would tell you they didn't see anything in me. They were like, oh, this girl's going to quit in like 5 months, 6 months maybe.
Yeah.
And for me to prove that for the women of hybrid that I represented, that I'm the face of hybrid, like that means the world to me. I won it at 19 years old, and I can say I'm the youngest one, and I'll hopefully forever be the youngest one.
Someone 18 years in.
No,
that would
I'm
be
gonna
like the
cry.
worst than good.
That would be terrible. But no, for now, I am the current and the youngest ever.
Yeah.
But it's a huge honor to know that people put that trust in me and that they're like, okay, you're the face of the women's division now.
Yeah.
And for RCW, I know it's a little tricky. You know, we heard and you and still, but all I heard was and you. So
Yeah.
this one's a huge honor for me too. I love RCW is a big platform, and for me to be the face of RCW, like, come
Yeah.
on.
That's kind of like a badge of
Whew.
honor at that point.
It's a badge of honor. Like, Kiera Hogan held this title. Maddie Rankowski held this
that's
title.
right.
Yeah, I have a picture with her that I took at an RCW event, and she was the RCW Women's Champion. And it's just like full circle, and it's weird and it's crazy, but I know I've worked hard for everything.
And I was thinking about what goals you have in mind. And of course, you have the belts down the line. And we talked about dream opponents. What are some of your career goals that you're looking forward to? Now that the year's kind of almost ending, but like, what are some goals that you're looking forward to for the rest of the year?
For sure. I'm still just a year in, but there's still so much I have to do, you know? Like, my next goal is to hopefully perform for TV at some point, maybe before the year ends.
Yeah.
Can't say too much, but, you know, maybe. And that's my main goal, but also traveling out of Texas just a little bit. I know I want to take over Texas first, but it doesn't hurt to see what's out there. And
I was going
that's
to ask.
mainly
I was
it.
going to ask that too. Where is there any places that you have in mind, or whatever the road takes you?
Wherever the road takes me. I know right now I'm going to be doing Louisiana in November, and I'm doing Iowa in December. So that's going to be my first time really, like, leaving Texas. And it's going to be a huge test, you know. But I like testing myself. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's every wrestler is they have to go through that next
You
year
have
to do it.
Because if you're not willing to get out of the comfort zone, I'm sorry, you're not getting anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end our conversation with this. And I know we're pressed on time, but if you were in the same room as Kalientita in an adolescent age, and if you were in the same room with her, what would you like to talk to her about?
Just everything's going to be worth it, and keep believing in yourself and trust yourself, because when everybody says no, when everybody looks at you funny, just know one day they're all going to be proven wrong.
And at the time, like, what was the one thing that's kind of like holding you back from taking that next step at the time?
At the time, I mean, I had no self-confidence or anything. My parents were like, girl, this is a face. This is weird. You can't make a living out of wrestling. So I feel like not having parents' support is the biggest, like,
Yeah.
you know, that ruins your confidence in a lot. But I pushed through, so
Yeah.
it worked out in the end, I think.
There you go. Awesome. So on our next segment on the United 210 press conference, we have K-Jax here in the program. How are you, sir?
You know, I feel powerful. I feel good. I feel strong. What about you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm the uninitiated here in United 210. And tell us a bit of a highlight of your career here in wrestling.
So, I've been wrestling for about 3 years so far, and within that span of 3 years, I've been going from Japan, Okinawa, over to Korea, and here I am in the good old US of A, knocking heads and breaking skulls.
What were some promotions that you were in Japan for?
So Ryukyu Dragon Pro Wrestling over in Okinawa. I don't know if you heard too much with that one, but they also worked alongside Dragon Gate. And I don't know if you heard about that one, but they also worked alongside New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I went ahead and got my hand in a little bit of all those baskets. And then over in Korea, I know you're thinking it. I'm about to throw it for you. The Pro Wrestling Society over in Korea. That's where I was at.
Nice.
Yes.
And wrestling from another country, and especially coming from the U.S., what's that dynamic like wrestling in basically another culture?
So I'll say this, everything's a little bit different when it comes to wrestling in a different country, right? You have some things that they're more used to, kind of like in Japan, strong style was pretty heavy. So you get a chance to go ahead and show your muscle with the best of the metals, right? And over in Korea, there's like a hybrid of their own, and then also with strong style. So it's different, especially with people in different ways that they communicate. So like the Korean language, you have the Japanese language, and learning how to go ahead and talk between them and work with the culture. Seeing what works with the fans on that side versus the fans over in America. Things are a little bit different across the board, but I'm all in for it. And it was like one of the best experiences was understanding what makes wrestling tick between each country.
And it's still universal language, isn't it, when it comes to wrestling at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, it's the same type of language. It is, I'm in the ring and the other people go down. Yes, it is the same language.
Yeah, and coming here in United 210 and going back to the U.S., going back into your home country here in the U.S., what was the conversation like? What was the handshake between Stache and you?
So it was the promise of new experiences, learning new things, and getting a chance to learn how to use my own power as well. So it's just learning. Is one of the biggest things that we shook our hands around, the biggest agreement. And I have to say, it has not gone down at all. It's more like I've learned so much being over here at United. I learned about as far as how you have two different powerhouses going at it. I've learned like how my metal can go ahead and chase up against maybe one of the biggest and baddest of San Antonio. I learned how my endurance needs to go ahead and get stronger, how I can be more resilient. And it all happened right down over here. And I'm very appreciative of Studstache helping me out when it comes to that. But don't tell him that or else I'm going to have to body slam you.
Oh, God, I'm going to die next week. But anyways, but coming here in the yard, what was the first thing from what you hear from the fans? Like, what was that energy being in that crowd in the yard?
So coming over to the yard from the very first day, or the very first moment, walking out through those curtains and seeing everybody around roaring and erupting to the song that's playing, because first they don't know who's coming out, but then when they actually see you, they're trying to figure out exactly who you are. You know, they got the little cheers and the jeers, but the chance that they get when they see the real you step into that ring, the chance that they get when they see those chops start to fly, when they see you become the person that they hate or love, that I cannot say that I would trade for anything else.
And to be part of this 30-man Rumble, and I'm sure you've seen your fair share, how is this Rumble going to be different than the ones that you've faced in the past?
So it's going to be different because we have so many different powers that are going to be around here. This Rumble is going to be so different. We have people from the top, from the low, from all around that have wrestled with people from my size, from people from that Blackrose, Casey Blackrose size, the babyface backbreaker.
Sorry, Casey.
Yeah, no sorry, because I'm going to break his back next time he comes in there. Matter of fact, I'm going to break his whole body. And I'm telling you right now, we've had people from all over the field. And even if that one, Kalientita, comes into the ring, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to smash her down with my foot, my size 15s. I'm going to pick her up like a folded up can, and I'm going to throw her out the ring. She can go ahead and come on. She can get it too.
Oh, dear
I'm just
Lord.
saying, the big difference is the fact that it's a bigger platform for K-Jax to showcase his power to the fandom of United.
All right, and I'm going to end our conversation with this, and since we're short on time, if you were in the same room as young K-Jax in an adolescent age, what would you like to talk to him about?
I'll talk to him about, hey, whatever's happening right now, it's okay. Everything that you're going through, just calm down. Understand this. Bullies are going to be there. People are going to come and go. But at the end of the day, you're going to stand up and you're going to be the one to put them in their place. All you have to do is stay consistent, be persistent, and do the best you can to be the baddest person in the room.
We are ending the episode here over at United 210, and we have
the head honcho. We'll throw in the CEO. We'll throw in the owner. We'll throw in the grand poobah while we're at it. We have Studstache here to end out our episode. How are you, sir?
I'm on cloud nine right now, brother. I mean, I'm on cloud nine with the way this turnout was, the way everything went. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, it's interesting because now we're seeing where United 210 is growing. When it started, tell us a bit about the origin story, how United 210 came to be.
Actually, we were running heavy metal wrestling, which is a cult fanatic staple here in San Antonio. They were ending. You know, Dylan Dunbar was getting ready to have a kid, so he wanted to step away. He lent us his ring. We ran a show or two under the heavy metal banner, and we ran it here in the backyard. And we didn't even have cement or anything. We ran it in the grass. It was a legitimate,
Really?
It was a legitimate mud show, but the fans came out. The South Side came out. The community came out, and right then and there, I was like, we have something. So fast forward a little bit. He ended up selling that ring because somebody needed it in Austin, and totally understandable, you know, nothing but respect. And I was talking with Papa Stash, and Papa Stash was like, hey, you want to continue this? And I said, yeah. So we put all our money together. We ordered a brand new ring from Monster Rings. He added more to the cement slab that we had so it could fit, so we're not in the dirt. And we threw a show, and we drew about 400 fans on our first show. And it was so unbelievable that we had to keep moving forward because that's what the fans wanted.
Really?
There hasn't been too much wrestling here on, you know, in the heart of the South Side. I say the heart of the South Side because we're in between Harlandale High School, McCollum High School, which they have over a 50-year rivalry here in the community. So we said, you know what, let's add a little bit more. And we did it. We came up with the name United because everybody who comes here, hey, we're together. Everybody's united, no matter if they have beef, you know, oh, this company. No, it doesn't matter because underneath this roof, we are all one. And so we started running, and we are on season 2 now. And I don't think we have any plans of stopping soon. And I'm not mad about that. And I just love it because it brings the community together. It brings the wrestlers together. You know, it's a cheap night to bring your family. It's cheaper to come here to United than it is to take your family of 4, family of 5 to the movies.
Right.
You know, the kids get in for free. We have local food trucks. We support local. And, you know, everybody gets in for $10 if you're an adult. It's BYOB, bring your own chair.
Yeah.
Why not? It's not about the money to us. It's about the community.
And how has community been such a big part? And you kind of gave that away as well. Community has been such a pillar to what United stands for. How has that been part of what United is today?
The community is a big thing. I grew up here, born and raised here at the yard. I was born and raised. After high school, I joined the military. You know, I was in the first wave of the Iraq invasion. I was a medic. I've seen a lot. I've been a part of a lot. And I came back and my community supported me because, you know, I'm kind of well known here. But for doing that, I don't like to say I'm a hero, but for them to call me a hero and support me in that, I mean, so when the wrestling came along, it just one and one came together and they kept on supporting, you know, and everybody loves wrestling, everybody loves entertainment. So the community is such a huge part of United 210.
And it's interesting because, like, you've had a wider presence outside in San Antonio, and to see everyone who's seen United 210 from all over the world, that must have been an overwhelming feeling.
I can't believe it. You know, when I see the YouTube statistics and people are watching from like Russia, Europe, Japan, and then, you know, we get superstars coming over from Japan to be a part of this.
Wow.
It just makes it even bigger. It makes me realize that, hey, we have something here and we are doing something right.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because, Sumi Sakai was there, Hanako's here. To have higher tier talent, and you mentioned this when I asked the question too, and Rob Love kind of jumped in too, to have these outside stars and for the ones who are growing in their wrestling careers. How has that been a good environment for a wrestling promotion like United 210?
It's been a great environment because not only have we brought people who are established, we've solidified the talent that comes in here that needs that recognition because of all the hard work they do, and with a great production team and the way we're overflowing on YouTube, it makes these people who deserve that shot to be in the big leagues get them more exposure. The Danny O'Ryans, the Casey Blackrose,
Right.
Cody Lane, Teflon Johns. I mean, these names need to be exposed a lot more than they are right now. So that's our mission, to make these major young players a part of this bigger league, something much bigger than the indies. They need to be on a national spotlight. So that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to help, these talented wrestlers.
And with the event upcoming with This Is How We Do It, and seeing the growth from where it started to now, what can you look back leading up to having this 30-man rumble, to have the triple threat match down the line? What was that growth like, seeing it from your eyes?
I mean, it started from just, a small beam of a dream.
Yeah.
And everybody just believing in the product, being patient with the progress and knowing that they're here for a reason. Like I said earlier, we're not here to make money. We're here to make people. We're here to make stars. It's much bigger than us. It's much bigger than wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much bigger than that. These individuals deserve, they earn everything that's coming to them, now, in the future, the people that have paved the way in the past for United 210. It's really all about this talent that needs to be exposed to the nation, and beyond.
Exactly. And I'm going to end our conversation as we're pressed for time here. And if you were in the same room as a young Studstache at an adolescent age, what would you like to talk to him about?
I'd like to tell him, you're here for a reason. You're here to help people. You've helped people in the past. You've helped people with the nation, as far as the Army.
Right.
But now, you're here for a bigger purpose. You're here to help these younger individuals whose their dream since they were little is to be in the WWE, to be on a big wrestling platform like AEW, ROH, New Japan, TNA, and we're trying to make those dreams come true.
Okay, and I have nothing left to give, but since you're the head honcho over at United 210, give us a hype reel on this event coming next month.
We haven't done anything like this before. A 30-person Southside Rumble. You hear about the Royal Rumble. And Rumbles. To me, I love Rumbles because it's just my favorite. I love to see the chaos in there. But at the same time, I like to see who comes out on top in the end. The person that deserves it, who's earned it, who shows their perseverance, not only in a Rumble, but through life. That's really all I have to say is I want to see everybody. I know everybody can't succeed at once, but I want that to flow like dominoes. I want everybody to succeed one right after another. And that's our main purpose here at United 210.
And that ends our episode with the United 210 press conference. I do want to bring up as well, thank you, Studstache, for his service in the military, protecting our country when he was deployed back as a medic. So I wanted to bring that before we go any further. So you can find Casey Blackrose, Kalientita, K-Jax, Studstache, and the entirety of United 210 on their socials, which will be provided on the show notes. And what's coming up next? Friday, we will have the recap episode on the podcast. And I can finally share this, that the season will start on September 9th with a guest that I can't wait to talk to him about. So be on the lookout on our socials at PGTK Pod on X, Instagram, Threads, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and on YouTube at PGTK Pod. And as always on this audio episode, thank you so much for listening. be awesome with each other, and I will see you guys on the recap episode of the PGTK podcast coming out this Friday.